I think I figured it out. The reason you keep procrastinating starting a YouTube channel or online business is because you think that you have to have everything laid out perfectly, and the idea that you cannot make any mistakes is engraved into your mind. Listen to me, I've tried every business model under the sun and found the most success with YouTube. And during that time on YouTube, I've grown multiple channels to hundreds of thousands of views on long form content. And the number one thing that got me there is mistakes. But before we go more in depth, if you want my help to start or scale your YouTube channel, click the first link in the description to book a free call with me where we can discuss how I can help you. To this day, I still believe that making mistakes is a big part of the process. And trust me when I say that, because I have over 6 years of YouTube experience. I think a lot of people are stuck in the same place right now. They would start a YouTube channel, maybe start online business, or start creating something of their own. But they keep waiting until they know more, waiting until they have the perfect plan, or waiting until they feel ready. And the truth is, that's exactly what keeps people from ever starting. Because the idea that everything has to be perfect before you start is one big misconception about success. In reality, like I said earlier, mistakes are part of the process. And that's why I feel like it's so important to have a mentor in any venture of business you go into. Maybe it's YouTube, maybe even dropshipping. That's why I help beginners launch and scale profitable YouTube channels. If you're interested, click the first link in the description to book a free call with me, and I'll be more than happy to see how I can help you. Success doesn't mean that you need to be the perfect human. It just means you have to make the conscious decision to say, yes, I'm going to start, even though I don't feel ready. Get in there with no prior knowledge. Ideas that seem perfect in theory don't always work in real life. A video that looks great might flop, just like a strategy that makes sense on paper might flop in the real world. There are always factors you can't control, like timing, trends, and things you just didn't see coming. And that gap between theory and execution is where most things actually happen. So when something doesn't work, it doesn't just mean you failed, it means you're collecting data. The people who eventually succeed aren't the ones who avoid mistakes. They're the ones that look at what happened, adjust a few things, and try again without getting emotionally attached to the outcome. They treat every attempt like a test. And this is where most people struggle, because how we were taught growing up. In school, the process looks like this. You study the material, you memorize the information, then you take the test. But life works in the opposite order when you run your own business. In life, the test comes first, then the lessons come afterwards. You try something, you get a couple things wrong, and then you figure out why. You improve a little, you try again, and you improve even more. But majority of people are conditioned to believe that they need to understand everything before trying something new. They need that full roadmap first. And because of that belief, they end up stuck in preparation mode for months, sometimes even years. Learning, researching, watching tutorials, but they still never even start. The reality is, you can read every single guide, watch every single tutorial, and still run into problems the moment you begin. Because the real lessons come from doing. Once again, that's why I started my coaching program, where I help people build their own channels. And most importantly, I encourage them to take action. If you're interested, book in a free call with me using the top link in the description where we can discuss how I can help you. Think of it like walking into an exam without having all the answers. You try your best, but you still get a lot wrong. Then you review the mistakes, figure out what happened, and start memorizing the answers. Over time, this correction starts stacking up. That's how progress actually works. Attempt, learn, adjust, repeat. Another thing that quietly holds people back is comfort. Not laziness, not lack of intelligence, just comfort. When life feels stable enough, it feels easy to brush things off. You might spend a few hours thinking about something, but then the day fills up with other distractions. Social media, entertainment, routine, and before you know it, another day passes without taking action. That's why you have to move with speed and take action, otherwise 6 to 12 months will pass and nothing's changed. Comfort makes it really easy to delay change, but growth almost always begins the second you step out your comfort zone. The important thing is to realize that you'll never always feel ready. Starting something new always comes with uncertainty. There will always be things you don't know yet, or mistakes you haven't made yet, and that's completely normal. The difference between people who eventually succeed isn't intelligence or luck, it's the willingness to start before everything feels certain, to take action while others are still figuring things out, because being ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to start even if you're unsure. You decide to try even though you might get things wrong, and every attempt makes the next one easier. You fail, learn, and adjust, and then you fail again. But that's how you get better every time. Starting is a decision, not a feeling. The moment you decide to try, even if you're unsure, even if you feel like you're not ready, you're already further ahead than the version of yourself that sat there waiting. So eventually, the patterns start to shift. Some attempts still fail, while others start working. And over time, the small wins start to stack up. That upward momentum is what most people call success, not perfection, just consistent improvement over time. So if you've been waiting for the right moment to start something, maybe a YouTube channel or online project, or any goal you've been thinking about, take this as a reminder to realize that the perfect moment is never coming. Progress starts with action, even imperfect action. So start small, publish the first video, launch the first idea, take the first step. You can improve everything after that, but the only real way to learn what works is to begin. The people who have it in them to watch to the end of this video will be the ones that succeed. So what are you waiting for? That's all I've got for you today, but hopefully I motivated some of you to start your business. Once again, for the people who are looking to start or scale their YouTube channel, click the first link in the description to book a free call with me where we can discuss how I can help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.